Do electric vans make sense? We're about to find out. The new Ford E-Transit is the second electric large van to arrive in Australia so far this year. In this video, we'll cover driving range, performance, put a ton in the back, and tell you what it's like to drive. Is the new Ford E-Transit good enough to get van drivers out of their diesels and into an electric vehicle? Let's take a closer look. The Ford E-Transit joins the growing list of electric utes and vans on sale in Australia. Others include the LDV E-Deliver 9 van and E-T60 ute, the Mercedes-Benz E-Vito, and the Peugeot E-Partner City van. For now, they all come with a heavy price premium and limited driving range. They're aimed at government and business fleets who want to see if an electric delivery vehicle suits their needs. The Ford E-Transit is priced from $105,000 plus on-road costs, roughly twice as much as a diesel version. It has the power and performance to haul a heavy load. In fact, our testing showed it's the fastest van in its class. However, the jury is out on real-world driving range. Utes and vans remain the most challenging vehicles to electrify because they need to carry a decent load and often clock up huge kilometres in their daily routine. Electric commercial vehicles are designed to appeal to last-mile delivery services, such as couriers who take parcels from the depot to their final destination. The theory being these vehicles can do the job during the day and be recharged overnight, ready to do it all again tomorrow. The E-Transit is Ford's first electric vehicle to arrive in Australia and is one of the biggest vans in its class, available in mid-roof long-wheelbase and high-roof long-wheelbase configurations. We tested the mid-roof model. Cleverly, the E-Transit uses the electric motor and battery pack from the Ford Mustang Mach-E electric SUV, which has been on sale in the US for more than a year and due in local showrooms by the end of this year. The E-Transit in Australia starts from $104,990 plus on-road costs. For the mid-roof long-wheelbase model, add $1,000 for dual sliding doors, $700 for metallic paint, and $1,500 for the high-roof variant. While all this is a power of money and more than twice the price of the diesel equivalent Ford Transit, it is $11,000 cheaper than its closest electric rival, the LDV E-Deliver 9. The E-Transit is powered by a 190 kilowatt, 430 Newton metre electric motor that drives the rear wheels. It's powered by a 68 kilowatt hour battery pack. Ford quotes a consumption rating of 28 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, which we matched or did better than when the vehicle was unladen. The big question mark is real-world driving range. Ford gives a wide scope of 230 to 300 kilometres as an estimate, but in our testing, the real-world driving range was close to 230 to 250 kilometres, depending on conditions. The E-Transit has a generous payload of 1,611 kilograms, but it is also a heavy vehicle to start with, tipping the scale at more than 2,600 kilograms. Warranty is 5 years unlimited kilometres on the vehicle and 8 years 160,000 kilometres on the battery pack. Service intervals are 12 months or 30,000 kilometres. As with a lot of vans this size, there is plenty of cabin storage, including large pockets on the top of the dash, document holders above the driver and front passenger, and massive multi-level door pockets. There are 4 power sockets in total, including a 12-volt and USB charging port in the center console and a 12-volt and USB-C port in front of the driver. There are 4 cup holders in the dash, including 2 on the top level, 2 near the knees, and there's a 5th one in the center console. Other handy storage pockets, there's a deep tray here for phones and wallets, and also a small console between the front seats. Handy touches, there are central locking switches in both front doors, and there's an LED light that tells you when the doors are locked. In case you're obsessed about one-touch auto-up power windows like me, the driver gets that functionality in the Transit, but the passenger does not. The rotator dial, rather than a traditional gear lever, does take a little getting used to, but after a few days, we mastered it. The steering wheel is height and reach adjustable to help you find that perfect seating position. There's automatic hill hold assist and an electronic park brake, and key driving functions are accessible via buttons on the steering wheel, such as cruise control and infotainment settings. Annoyingly, when using Apple CarPlay both in the Ford E-Transit and the latest generation Ford Ranger, we found the system doesn't have quite enough bandwidth to handle running a streaming app like Spotify, for example, while watching maps on another screen. If you're listening to Spotify and you have that display showing in the infotainment screen, there's no problem. But switch to Maps and it's too much for the system, and you start getting static through your music playlist. And if there's no one in the middle seat, there's a couple of extra cup holders. The cabin is available in 2 or 3 seat configurations. Removing the middle seat to make it a 2-seater costs an additional $150. An electrically adjustable driver's seat is standard. This category of large vans does not yet come under the scrutiny of Safety Body's ANCAP or Euro NCAP, so we don't have a safety star rating for the E-Transit. Time to take it for a drive. The acceleration really is surprising. The responsiveness is almost instant, especially compared to a diesel. We ran 0 to 100 times on a V-Box just to make sure it wasn't an illusion. The Ford E-Transit stopped the clocks from 0 to 100 in about 9 seconds. That's quicker than most double cab utes. We also did an emergency braking test from 100 kilometers an hour, and it pulled up in a shorter distance than most double cab utes. As impressive as the acceleration times are, they don't tell the full story. The acceleration is really quite perky, especially from 20 kilometers an hour to 80 kilometers an hour, which, let's face it, is where you spend most of your time in the daily grind. We don't drive a lot of vans that drive, but I'd go as far to say as this is one of the fastest we've driven. Of course, the Ford E-Transit is not just about straight line speed, but that is a key indicator of its real-world performance. Emergency braking performance was also impressive. It pulled up in about 43 metres from 100 kilometres an hour, which is better than most double cabs. Part of the reason the Ford E-Transit has such good braking performance are the Hankook tyres. And just a reminder, if you're finding this video useful, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss reviews just like this one, including our video review of the LDV E-Deliver 9, the closest vehicle to the Ford E-Transit. Under my right foot are the electric motor and battery pack from the base model of the first generation Mustang Mach-E electric car. After our time with this car, I really prefer driving the electric van rather than a diesel van. The only catch is how far you need to drive on a shift. Regardless of what the Ford brochure says, the most driving range we've seen out of the E-Transit is about 230 kilometres in the real world. That's a real-world energy consumption of between 25 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres to 28 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. For context, it's about twice as thirsty as a Tesla Model 3. Of course, those stats are while the Transit is unladen. We also put a ton of weight in the back thanks to our friends at Nepean Landscape Supplies to see how the E-Transit could handle a decent load. There's no question about the ability of electric vehicles to handle huge weight. The only issue is the impact on driving range. With a ton in the back, it did 0 to 100 in a still impressive, for a van, 13.5 seconds. Another point to note, the Ford can travel at 110 kilometers an hour, with a claimed top speed of 130 kilometers an hour, so it can keep pace with the flow of traffic on freeways. However, the LDV E-Deliver 9 tops out at 90 kilometers an hour, which can be frustrating from the slow lane. Here's the dilemma with electric commercial vehicles. You can put extra battery packs in them to make them go further, but of course, as soon as you do that, it makes the vehicle heavier. So it's a case of 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And that's one of the reasons commercial vehicles are probably going to be the last to go fully electric. For example, the Ford E-Transit has a 68 kilowatt hour battery pack. That's enough to put 40 hybrid vehicles on the road. If the aim is to reduce emissions, are we better off putting 40 hybrid vehicles on the road that use half as much fuel and produce half as much tailpipe emissions, or 1 van? Let's look at it another way. The Ford E-Transit with a real-world driving range of 230 kilometres is like a diesel Ford Transit with a 25-litre petrol tank. There's no doubt there's absolutely a market for electric delivery vans, but they really are a specific use. The catch is they can only really be used on short city and suburban loops where you come back to base after travelling no more than 200 kilometres or thereabouts. Whether you are a fleet manager trying to tick the green box for your company or government department, or are genuinely curious about the suitability of the E-Transit for your business, this is the pick of the crop among the limited selection of electric vans so far. But be sure to twist an arm and take advantage of whatever fleet discount you can get, because $105,000 plus on-road costs truly is a power of money. For the courier drivers watching this video who might find themselves behind the wheel of an E-Transit, if your boss puts you on one of these, enjoy it. It really is a nice vehicle to drive, and besides, you're not paying for it or the depreciation. To sum up, the Ford E-Transit is a surprise package. A lot of van drivers will dismiss it because it's an electric vehicle, but we've got to tell you, after testing this car, there's no doubt about its capability. It can handle a heavy load, and it's also decent to drive. But there are two big challenges: price and driving range. To read the full review on the Ford E-Transit, go to drive.com.au. Please hit like if you've enjoyed this video and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any future updates. Also check out our review of the LDV E-Deliver 9, the closest electric van to this one right here. Thanks for watching.